Have you ever seen something that wasn't supposed to be? Something that questions what you're certain to be true? Well, for me, it happened when I was 9, the day I met a doppelganger. Not my own, but my brother's. While he was out on a school trip, his double stood in the darkness of my room late at night. He wore the same pajamas, glasses, hair, and even moles on his face. But two things felt completely off. The first were his eyes. They were the same shape and color, but the sinister intention behind them was unrecognizable. The second were its teeth. As it formed its impossible grin, I noticed there were too many of them, bunched up together and escaping logic. At this moment, the only certainty I felt was horror, but soon followed another feeling that caught me by surprise. A profound unease that stood stronger than fear, a unique knee-jerk revulsion that can only be stirred up once you encounter the uncanny. Now, the uncanny can be found in many places, not just by seeing a double. Old dolls can produce a dose of this effect, misshaping 3D renders and realistic robots as well. In essence, the uncanny can be found in any distortion of the familiar into an unsettling abnormality. And even after so many years, this feeling has puzzled me. And as a writer, I have tried to understand it better so I can learn to evoke it in an audience. That's why the recent film Smile caught my eye. But as much as I like the visuals, there's still a point being missed with how to use the uncanny in horror or in cinema in general. How it can be more than just a series of jolts, and an understanding of why this can create such a level of unease. So today, we take a look at several movie scenes to analyze how we can create an unsettling encounter with the uncanny by using appearance, action, and setting. Also, this video is kindly sponsored by Surfshark, but more on that later. The first way is the easiest to recognize and replicate. It's when you notice that something just looks off in someone's face, be it animate or inanimate. Eyes too far apart, a smile too large or held for too long. Now, this isn't just reserved to the face, but it's one of the most effective places to deform since we rely on so much information from it. It's how we can communicate non-verbally and recognize someone's emotions. So to alter it alters what we feel when we see it. You can exaggerate an expression, like Lupita Nyong'o in Us, or like Lost Highway, with the mystery man maintaining his eyes wide open for longer than normal without blinking. This is the type of thing that creepypastas thrive on. Exaggerating the eyes into a wide open expression has a very primal effect on us because it emulates our human fear response. It's a remnant from our survival instincts. When we see an overabundance of white in someone's eyes, it triggers in us a possible fight or flight reaction. It alerts us to danger and naturally makes us feel uneasy, even if it's coming from a movie. But doing the opposite by limiting an expression can also create an uncanny feeling. That's why a lot of horror movies have masked villains. It doesn't just serve to conceal an identity, it's also off-putting to have an inanimate soulless face looking back at you, to the point that you'll find yourself unable to discern its intentions. It's similar to the stare of a creepy dead-eyed doll, but a great and subtle example can be found in The Shining. Danny drives his big wheel in the corridors of the Overlook Hotel and is shocked to encounter the Grady twins blocking his path. Now, one of the reasons why this scene is so effective is that instead of initially having a close-up of the twins, we are left at the same distance as Danny, and like him, we cannot see their faces. Here, distance serves as a mask.
Come and play with us, Danny.
Kubrick here robs these children of their humanity by erasing their identifying features, making them into an ominous possible threat. An uneasy and lasting contrast to take in. Now, if what unsettles you is the thought of your online information remaining unhidden, well, a VPN like the one we use from Surfshark can help you out. Not only does it give you access to a lot of content from streaming services that would otherwise remain geolocked in other countries, but most importantly, it protects your information by encrypting all the data you send through the internet and where you're connecting from. And adding to that peace of mind, even they don't log your information. There are a lot of VPNs out there, but we prefer using Surfshark because it's one of the fastest, well-reviewed, affordable, and offers a slew of features. Not only does it work across all platforms, but you're not limited to the number of devices you can install it on. use Surfshark Alert that lets you know if your information appears in a leaked database, or Surfshark Search to prevent ads or trackers to follow your searches. I could go on, but you should definitely check it out on your own. Go to surfshark.deals/screened. If you use our promo code SCREENED, you'll get 85% off the regular price, which means for something like a couple of bucks a month, you can be fully protected. Plus, you'll get 3 months for free. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you try it and you don't like it, you can simply cancel your subscription and get your money back. Now we return to the Uncanny. When it comes to actions that can create a feeling of the uncanny, some scenes could come to mind, like the creepy disjointed variations of zombie movements, or Kayako crawling on the floor, or the ever-eerie spider walk from The Exorcist. But it doesn't always have to be a contortionist exploit. It can be a very simple movement, and I think the best example has to come from Cairo. At first, you're pulled in by the foreboding atmosphere of a character walking into this underlit room and seeing a person appear faintly in the darkness. You see the woman walk closer at a snail pace, but it's all worsened by the way she somehow falters incoherently on herself. What makes this scene so unsettling is not exactly the threat this woman can pose, but the fact that walking, one of the most basic human things we can do, is apparently alien to her, and is significance enough of her otherworldliness. Another quick example of minimal action can be found in a lesser-known scene from We're All Going to the World's Fair. Here we see someone reviewing sleeping footage of the main character, and he calls attention to a certain moment in the night where she starts to act strangely. Her arm travels slightly, as if somewhat reaching something, and her neck extends while she produces an off-putting grin.
Casey.
Very tame, economical, and still effective. The next scene that comes to mind is from Hereditary, and spoilers if you haven't seen it. Deep into the last part of the movie, we find Peter waking up in the middle of the night. He feels something is with him in the darkness, and as he looks around, he is unable to catch his mother, crawling on the ceiling and out of view. The reason why this action feels uncanny is that it's a type of crawl that we can't even associate with an animal or an insect. It's rapid, silent, and more like an awkward swim in the air. The action not only defies gravity, it defies logic. But for all these examples, the necessary complementary ingredient is the element of unpredictability, like Toshio and Ju-on, meowing instead of talking. The cultish women in Midsommar, starting a chorus of guttural cries along with a spooked Danny. Or spotting the ghost kid dancing in the window in Insidious. The action has to be bizarre, dumbfounding, illogical, mismatched, something that denotes that normal rules don't apply here anymore, which leads us to our third category.
I can see him through the wall. I can see his face. I hope that I never see that face ever outside of a dream.
The last method, and what needs more effort to pull off, is creating the uncanny with a setting. It's also more challenging to explain because it relies a lot on a feeling. Now, people might think this is about building an atmosphere, but it's a bit more than that. It is essentially creating a feeling that can only be found in a nightmare. In The Babadook, it's a short scene where the insomniac mother is channel surfing one night and then stops at a news report about a woman killing her own son and is shocked to see herself staring back.
Celebrating his birthday today. He had just turned 7.
In Jacob's Ladder, it's a prolonged gurneyed descent from a scene that looks to be taking place in a common hospital to a gradual transition into a site of hellish torture.
There is no out of here. You've been killed. Don't you remember?
What we are looking to recreate is the sinking realization in a dream of no longer being in a reality you understand. And I think the master of this feeling has to be David Lynch. He created a collection of uncanny moments and imagery in his pursuit of surreal dream logic in cinema, where he uses the familiar as a jumping off point into the unnatural, like the woman in the furnace in Eraserhead, the diner scene from Mulholland Drive, and whatever this is from Inland Empire. But my favorite uncanny Lynch scene has to be when the mystery man makes his appearance in Lost Highway. As he approaches the main character, the background noise dies out, and all we can hear is their dialogue. The mystery man says they've met before.
That's your house, don't you remember?
No, I don't.
At first, this exchange is just odd, but once he says this line,
As a matter of fact, I'm there right now.
you get the feeling that something is wrong with this picture, and then it doubles down into the bizarre.
Call me.
He proceeds to have a dual conversation with the mystery man on the phone and with the one standing in front of him. Again, normal rules don't apply anymore. What I like about this scene is that not only is the mystery man being in the main character's house an intrusive veiled show of force, but the feeling of detachment from reality is caused by a simple conversation. It doesn't take much to feel a nightmare. But ultimately, why do we feel this way? Why is exaggerating human appearance, creating illogical movement, so effective? I believe the core reason is due to the simple fact that as humans, we cannot stand a flawed copy of us. And the realization of being in a dream is exactly that. It's an awareness of being in a faulty similarity of reality. Our reaction to that is a primal existential unease. And like my 9-year-old self staring at an intrusive double, we feel a profound and natural rejection of what shouldn't be.